Hey everybody, happy Monday. How are you? Hope that you're doing well. Getting a little bit of a late start here today. So many different things going on, so many different things I have to monitor and get started, but I really hope that you're doing well on this beautiful Monday. Beautiful day out where I live. I hope the same for you and your family, that you're doing well, that everything is good in your part of the world. I'm so grateful to have viewers from all over the world, so I really hope that everyone's in good health and good weather conditions and things along those lines. So here we are, Monday, October 7th. Jeez, feels like we were just talking about the start of October. Now already October 7th. Amazing, amazing. Time flies, guys. You gotta keep up with things in life. You know, you gotta keep things moving. So I hope that we're gonna have a good session today. I hope that we're all gonna have a good week, right? You know, we're gonna keep on developing our skills, keep on learning new techniques, keep on developing ourselves as data scientists, and keep on living within the community of data science, right? That's always the hope, right? That we can always keep on growing, keep developing our skills, and you know, just keep on growing, right? That's a part of being a scientist, that you can't stay still for too long. So if you're just joining us, if you're new, you know, I'm still getting a lot of new followers. Please, we always start off with our global roll call. So we invite you to say your city, state, country, a city, state, province, country. Just let us know how you're doing. Let us know where you're from. It's a nice, simple way for you to participate, to be a part of our community without really. Sorry about that. A little bit of noise interference there. But just a way for you to be able to introduce yourself and say hello. You know, no one's going to call on you. No one's going to put you on the spot. But it keeps the chat professional, keeps the chat engaged. And we'll just kind of go from there. So, you know, and just a good way for you to participate. So really appreciate you doing that. And then also, I like to start off with an opening note to kind of just set the tone for everything that comes up. You know, just different things that I like to share with you as far as different viewpoints that I may have or that I may see out there. But I invite you to think about my opening note. If you want to give me feedback in the chat, we always do that. So again, if you guys are just joining us, please participate by letting us know your city, state, country, province, and, you know, we'll go from there. And today I'm just taking questions, right? Today I'm taking questions, whatever's on your mind. I usually don't take questions on Sundays, but Mondays is a good day for it if you do have questions. So for today's opening note, Yassine, I'm glad you're here, because today's opening note is inspired by a note that Yassine had posted, an article, or rather an Instagram post that Yassine had posted on our Discord. If you're not a member of our Discord, please check your pinned comments in your chat, in your platform, because there is a link there to join our Discord, and that's a way that we use to keep the chat going 24 hours a day, right? You know, maybe you want to get a second opinion, maybe you just want to talk to other people, whatever the case may be, Discord is a place for that. So Yassine had posted an item about Volkswagen introducing a new AI capability in their car. Well, it's probably machine learning, not AI, where it could detect an incapacitated driver. It detects when you are incapacitated, you know, by most likely by some sort of medical episode or whatever the case may be, and slows you down, and then brings you to the side, brings you to a safe stop. Now, I love when people post on the Discord. I completely encourage that. I love the community, helping the community. But I took a particular interest in this because I've always been fascinated by machine learning in cars. And if you've watched my content before, then you know that I'm very bearish. I'm very down on the capabilities of machine learning in cars. I think that we have to accept that there are some problems out there that machine learning can't solve, and I think that driving, a fully self-driving car may be one of them. But this particular post caught my eye because, and by the way, guys, please don't spam my chat. That's really unprofessional. Please don't do that. This one caught my eye because what's the old saying? Consider the source, right? Consider the source. And in this case, it was Volkswagen. And let's be honest, when it comes to technology, when it comes to AI, machine learning, all companies out there want to seem edgy. They want to seem cutting edge. And in addition to that, you got to consider Volkswagen's reputation. If you haven't seen it, on Netflix, there is a fascinating documentary on Volkswagen and the problems that they had with emission laws, particularly in California, but emission laws across the United States with their engines. And I believe I want to say it was specific to their diesel engines, if I remember right, or it might have been all of their engines. Okay. And if you've watched that documentary, a couple of fascinating things happened in that. One is, I think it's a great documentary because it celebrates students. I don't know if you know this, but that entire scandal that Volkswagen caused for multiple years here in the US was discovered by a couple of students. It was a couple of students that were doing their master's program. They were trying to find a cheaper device or trying to create a cheaper device for emissions testing. Because when you do emissions testings on cars, it requires a garage and this big machine and a trained technician. And they said, no, we can do better than that. We want to have a single small box that does emissions testing. And they're the ones that found that the Volkswagen results that they were posting were wrong. A couple of students, and I believe it was the University of Mississippi, figured out that Volkswagen was faking their results. So to me, that says a lot about the company. And it also says about, how little they thought about the emissions testing process that they could fake it that quickly. So you got to consider the source when it comes to Volkswagen. But you want to know even the worst thing? The worst thing is that these graduate students obviously went on to write a paper and to publish these results. And Volkswagen, got a lot of bad press out of it, so on and so forth. And by the way, in this first instance, they were basically faking the paperwork, right? Because car makers can self-report their emission results, okay? So the students went on to write the paper, got a lot of publicity. Volkswagen got a lot of negative PR. And then obviously this affected all the states in the US. But I believe California is the one that decided to prosecute them because California has the strictest laws. So they were breaking every law in the US, but they were breaking it the most in California, right? They were most over the limits. If you were to look at the state limits, they were most over the limits in California. Okay? So California went on to prosecute them and say, hey, you're faking your results. We want to put you through our own tests. And Volkswagen said, okay, sure. And then do you know what Volkswagen did? Volkswagen figured out that the California tests were based on simulating driving. And the way they simulated driving was that the California tests would detect whether the steering wheel was moving or not. And Volkswagen knew they were under investigation. They knew that they were running these tests for California. They knew this, and they faked the steering wheel movement for those tests when they were already under prosecution. California was using those tests to continue the prosecution. And Volkswagen knew all of this, and they faked the steering wheel movement in order to again fake the tests that were specifically being run and managed and, completely, completely being run by California. So Volkswagen gamed the system not once, but twice. And the second time, they knew they were under prosecution. You guys believe that? Ridiculous. Says a lot. So I'm just saying, we can look at their AI and we can be like all fascinated by it. But consider the source. Consider the source. All right? I'm just saying. I can only give you guys the information. You can go out on Netflix. You can find the documentary. Netflix did a whole series on like these corporate scandals. And I believe that was like their very first episode because it's such an outlandish story. To me, it's fascinating that it doesn't get more attention. But they knew their engines were bad. They knew they were violating emission laws. And then they knew that they were being prosecuted by California. And they still faked the test. So don't be so impressed by their AI. Be careful with that. Be careful with that. We should be careful of all companies' AIs, right? But Volkswagen? Do you really want to trust them? I'm just saying. All right, guys, you're filling up my chat. Good to see everybody. Let me go up and down my chat here. Fatima, our good friend Fatima from Meekness. Hey, Fatima says, hey, sir. Hey, Fatima, how are you? Hope that you're doing well. Let us know how your studies are going, Fatima. Osama, hello, sir. Hope your day is going well. I'm doing well, Osama. Thank you so much. Rex says from NYC, hello, everyone. I hope you all have an amazing week. Yeah, thank you, Rex. Hope you have an amazing week, too. Rex, let us know what you got coming up this week. Hope you're doing well, Rex. Yassine from Tangier, Morocco. How you doing, Yassine? Hope you're doing well. Let us also know how your studies are going. I know we got a few students in the chat today. Hope you're doing well. Zeneb from Casablanca says hello. So we got an all Moroccan chat today. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 Moroccans to start the chat today. How are you doing, Zeneb? Hope you're doing well out there in Casablanca. Joseph, our good friend Joseph says, good morning, Dennis and everyone. Happy Monday from Tennessee. Happy Monday to you too, Joseph. Hope you're doing well. Let us know what you're doing this week, Joseph. Hope you're doing well out there. Leo, our good friend Leo from our fifth Moroccan in the chat Leo says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Leo. Hope you're doing well. Rohan from Vizag, India. Rohan, it's so good to see you back again. I know you missed a little bit there. Hope that you're doing well. Hope that life is good for you. So welcome to you from Vizag, India. Rex says, what do I have coming up this week? Studying, a lot of studying. Well, I hope it's good studying, right? I mean, I'm assuming it's some analytics of some kind, or what are you studying, Rex? Let us know. Prince says, "Hey Dennis, how are you? I'm doing well, Prince. Prince, I know it's not your first time. Remind me. I can't remember where you're from. Were you from the UK somewhere? I think. Remind me where you're from, Prince. Yeah, I'm doing well. Hope the same for you, Prince. Manoj from Bangalore, India. Manoj, how are you? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Fatima says, it's good, sir. Thanks for asking. Okay, cool. Leo says, yeah, from New York City, Morocco. Yep, that city of New York City and Morocco. Yep. Yeah, guys, no offense, but I always heard about Casablanca being referred to as the New York City of Morocco. There's only one New York City in the entire world. Nobody can replicate that. Nobody. Rex says, studying some SQL and Tableau. Rex, why do you hate yourself? Why would you want to stay home and study SQL and Tableau? Rex, is that a cry for help? Should we send someone? I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. Lots of value in knowing how to work with SQL and Tableau. I'm just giving Rex a hard time. Zeneb says, all good. Glad to be here. Well, glad you're here too, Zeneb. Appreciate that. Prince says, yes, you're right, from Birmingham. Okay, yeah, you know, I was gonna guess. Like, I thought you were like from yeah, the north of London. Yeah, okay. Good to see you back, Prince. Glad you're here. So Yassine is referring back to the Volkswagen intro. Wow, I didn't know about that. Yes, we should definitely be double checking, especially for these sensitive cases. Yeah, Yassine. I mean, look, we should be cautious because one, fake it till you make it, right? Especially when it comes to AI. Tons of fake crap out there, right? I mean, I'm basically convinced that like 99% of these robotics and Android companies are total trash, right? Total trash. The VCs are dumb, are just complete dummies for investing in these companies, right? So, but then again, yeah, it's craziness, right? And two, Yassine here is referring to the sensitive cases, and that's referring to a post that I made this morning on the Discord. Again, if you haven't joined the Discord, please do that. So when you think about AI like that, go back to your fundamentals. Think about your false positives and your false negatives. To me, when a car can say, hey, the driver has passed out, I better do these actions. It sounds great when it goes right, if the AI is real. But what about when it doesn't? What about a false positive? What about when a car takes over when you don't want it to? Isn't that dangerous? Right? For me personally, I've shut off all the assistive capabilities in my cars because I hate them. I want to be in control. I don't want the car to take over at any time. So what happens when the car takes over and you're not incapacitated? Or when you're not in a dangerous situation? Excuse me, sorry. Or when you're not in a dangerous situation? That's scary, right? False positives are very expensive, very scary in that scenario. But again, that's assuming that technology is real, which, you know, I think is 50-50. Leo says, great morning in Fiddy today, Dennis. You'd like it. We have a new restaurant around. It's called Naya. Oh, okay, cool. What kind of food? Yeah, there's a lot of great restaurants in Fiddy. I mean, I used to go to All American Cut. I used to go to Greenwich Tavern. What was the other one? What is it? Mary Beth's? Elizabeth's? I think it was called Mary Beth's. And then I can't remember the last one. Oh my gosh, I can see the name, but I can't remember it. It was down on Water Street. But yeah, lots of good places in Fiddy. Let me know what kind it is. Maybe I'll check it out next time I'm in New York. Rex, get a life. Blink twice or hell. Yeah, Rex, blink twice if you're being held against your will by the tableau gods. Mafood, our good friend Mafood says, hello everyone, good day. Hey Mafood, hope you're doing well. Damien, thanks for introducing yourself. Hello, Dennis, hello everyone. Damien from Poland, Zielanka. Okay, cool, I remember you now. Yeah, it's not your first time, but I appreciate you introducing yourself. Let us know how things are going in Poland. I always hear about how Poland has a very vibrant tech scene. A lot of companies opening offices in Poland for the workers there and all that. So hope you're doing well out there, Damien. Good morning, Dennis Pinonk. I hope I'm pronouncing it. Pinonk here from Dallas. Very cool. Pinonk, thanks for the introduction. What part of Dallas? I lived out there for a couple of years. I lived in Dallas for 2 years. Yeah, good restaurants in Dallas. Good Indian restaurants in Dallas. But let us know how you're doing, Pinonk, and let us know what part of Dallas. Leo says Dennis has a gun on his car to shoot him down just in case it takes over. That's not legal in all states. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, I'm not opposed to that. But yeah, I don't like when the car takes over. You know. Or you know, on one of my cars, it tells you when you're driving too fast in the rain. Like it'll tell you like too fast for conditions or whatever. And I'm like, don't tell me that. I can drive however I want. So sometimes it's just like an annoyance, right? But yeah, I don't like that drive assisted stuff. Many accidents reported to be a cause of lane assist indeed. Oh, absolutely, Mafood. Absolutely. Yeah. You know, and that's another thing, guys. You know, there's probably a lot more FSD accidents than what actually gets reported, right? Like Tesla and all the companies, they work really hard at keeping those out of the newspapers. So, you know, yeah. I can totally see how lane assist is definitely part of the problem for sure. Mafood says Devon AI and the AI-powered Amazon store will forever be funny. Mafood, what's the elevator pitch on that one? I'm not sure I know that one. Give me the elevator pitch on that one. Leo says lol to us helping Rex, I'm assuming. Yeah, but hey, you know what? To Rex's point, if your tool set consists of SQL and Tableau, that's a great setup for analytics. And as you heard me say before, analytics can solve a lot of problems. In the greater scope of the things that you're going to be doing for a company, for stakeholders, for whatever, there's not always, and in fact, I would even say there's rarely a need for you to rush to a data science solution. It's usually a good idea to look for the analytics solution first. You can solve a lot of problems with the analytics, side of things. If you can come up with analytics, you can come up with distributions, right? And if you can come up with distributions, you can come up with standard deviations, right? And if you can come up with standard deviations, you can come up with probabilities of events happening, right? And guess what? A lot of business problems that you have, that's basically what they're looking for, right? We want to do this. how many times are we going to go wrong doing this? When you boil down most problems, that's basically what they're asking you. We want to do this. How many times is it going to be how many times is it going to blow up in our faces? That's it. I mean, that's going to be a good portion of the concerns that the business has when they approach you with something. Right? I mean, when you break it down, that's all they want. So consider that, guys, right? Consider that. That a lot of it is just going to be, hey, this is what our data looks like, and we want to do this. What do you think? Are we going to go wrong, or is this okay? You'd be surprised how many times you can give a very solid, very rational answer, an answer you can prove, just with SQL and Tableau. Now, question for the chat. Give me your answers here. If you've taken a formal course, or some sort of academic course, and if it was a good one, because not all academics consider this. All right? What is the primary limitation to using analytics? There is I guess you can call it like a pitfall or a danger that you should always look out for when using analytics in the way I just described. What is it? Give me an answer in the chat. But there is one pitfall that makes analytics a little bit dangerous. And it's also kind of where data science begins. But let me know. Okay? Rex says, I want to be a well-rounded data professional. And you should be, Rex. And I commend you for pursuing that. We should all be pursuing that. I mean, look, guys, I'm just giving Rex a hard time because, he's a good guy. He's one of my moderators. You only joke with the ones you love, right? So, thumbs up to him for going after SQL and Tableau. Mafood says Devon AI was marketed as an AI software engineer. How it was essentially, oh, right. Okay, yeah. Devon was like the fake professional coder or whatever. Yeah, but I guess I didn't understand your reference to the Amazon store. But yeah, I remember that. Leo says Rex is the best we have. Yeah, we love Rex. He's the best Twitch moderator we have. Amazon, a physical store, the people take stuff out of the shelves and camera. But instead of AI, they hired the staff. Okay, I get it now because I thought you were trying to tie the two together when you said Devon AI and the Amazon store. But yeah, the Amazon store stuff is ridiculous, right? I mean, that is the ultimate in fake it till you make it. In case you guys aren't familiar with that story, Amazon had touted these stores. You can just walk in, pick up something and walk out, right? You didn't have to pay. The AI just knew what you picked and all that. Well, it turns out they were using cameras. And they hired people in remote centers. I think they were based in India. And they were doing the input for what you bought and how much you had to be charged. So that was the ultimate in fake it till you make it. They just got, good headlines out of it. Okay, but I get you now, Mafood. I thought you were trying to... I thought you were tying the two together like Devon AI had created an Amazon store or something. Leo says he's right. We joke because SQL is annoying. I don't know if it's is it annoying? It might be annoying in some cases, but it's essential, right? Super essential. Speaking of which, Zeneb is asking, what SQL level do you consider respectable for a first data analyst job? Great question. I would say, you need to know your joins. And it wouldn't hurt if you knew multiple database packages, because you never know what database package your job will require of you. They might require multiple packages. Like what is TSQL? What is PSQL? Right? And then like how does that also differ from like using queries in like Hadoop, right? So that's what I would say. You have to know all your joins, and you have to know how to adjust yourself for some of the different packages. Yeah, that feels appropriate for a first year. But it's going to differ, it's going to differ based on the job, of course. But, if you're just asking me off the top of my head, that feels about right. But that's what I would say. Let me know if that helps, Zeneb, or if you have a particular scenario in mind, right? But like when I say TSQL and PLSQL, like you should know what I'm talking about right away, right? If you don't, then you're probably not ready. So that's a good little test actually, guys, right? Do you know the difference between those? Like what am I referring to, right? Like if you know that, great. If you don't, might want to review your databases, right? And again, guys, the question in the chat right now is, what is the primary pitfall, or what is the primary danger when using analytics? So we were just talking about analytics, about how valuable it is, and it's super valuable. But there's one major consideration you should think about for analytics. Okay, for the answer, Rex is proposing computation. No, Rex. No. The dangers go beyond that. Anybody else want to guess? Oh, wow. Timothy Sutton. Timothy, thank you so much. Wow, that's great. Timothy, so guys, if you're seeing a blue star next to Timothy's name, that's because he has chosen to become a subscriber of the channel. I'm a little surprised. I'm a little taken aback because I literally just enabled subscriptions like an hour ago. Over the weekend, I was approved for the YouTube partnership program. So I've been getting all the things ready, understanding the program. I'm new to it. So I literally just enabled subscriptions. I haven't even announced it. So Timothy, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate your support. Really means a lot to me. But I literally just enabled them. I haven't made any promo videos, or I didn't even announce it, during our stream today. But Timothy, I sincerely appreciate you deciding to join. Thank you so much. Anybody else who wants to join, my primary benefit is that I am offering early access to my videos. Generally speaking, I prep my videos and queue them up about 2 weeks ahead of time. And I kind of don't like that they just sit there and nobody gets to watch them. So that's the primary offering for the subscribers, that you can go and you can look at all my videos until they're made live. So it's like a 2-week VIP access to the videos before they're actually live. And again, I haven't prepped any promos or anything else because I just started this. So Timothy, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate your support. Let's see, Fatima. So again, guys, the question in the chat is, what is the primary pitfall for analytics? I think analytics can identify correlations between variables, but can't always determine the cause-effect relationship, leading to misinterpretation if not handled carefully. Not quite, but you're on the right track, Fatima. I like the way you closed out, leading to misinterpretation if not handled carefully. You're on the right track with that. Rex says, is it the size of the data? No, Rex, it's not. Not directly. It's tangentially related to that, but not exactly. Leo, or I guess it's Lio, or I'm sorry, I'll just say Rabbi. Rabbi, we asked people to introduce themselves, you know, to keep the chat professional. Leo says, I didn't even know that. I'm sorry, Leo, I don't know which part you're referring to there. Rex says, congrats on making partner. Thank you, Rex. I appreciate that. This is the first level. YouTube has like multiple levels. I'll probably make the other level within a couple weeks here. But thank you, Rex. Appreciate that. Stones, we usually ask people to introduce themselves. You know, let us know your city, state, country, please. Rex says, so the limitation is predictive analytics. Ooh, Rex, you're so close. You're so close. In fact, I think that's close enough. But let me look here. Yassine says, I think the analyst bias can be a problem and we can miss important features. Yeah, but you can do that with data science too, though, Yassine, right? If you were doing a full model, your statement would still apply. So I think Rex's answer is close enough, guys. So here's the thing about analytics. Again, not all courses talk about this. If you had a good academic course, they'll teach you this, okay? The limitation that you have to be aware of for analytics is that they are limited to the range of events that have happened in the past. So I think Rex's mention of the predictive side is kind of like, you know, where the right answer lies, right? Because you can only make inferences based on the range of things that have already happened. That's the primary limitation you have to be aware of for analytics. So if you have like sales numbers, like some sales history data, transaction data, and the transactions go from $100 to $50,000, right? Like that's part of your inputs. That's the range of transactions. It's invalid to start making analytical assumptions if now you're talking about transactions that are $100,000 or $500,000. I mean, you can, but highly not recommended and highly unreliable answers. You got to be super careful with that. That's the primary you know, field mine that you can step on. You can't have an analytic process and go outside the range. Danger if you're outside the range. If you start having like either outliers or some type of growth in the business, you know, where now the range of sales or transactions that you're doing is much higher and all that. So that's the part that you need to be careful on, right? So that's kind of like where I was going with that, where you got to be careful that that is the primary limitation of analytics. Now, if you do want to go outside of that, as Rex says, if you do want to go into the predictive side, now that's where you need a model, right? But very, very bad practice to use analytics for events or inputs or data or however you want to put that go outside the range. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. So I think this, it's hard for me to sometimes find a venue to talk about those things. So I'm glad that, that this kind of came up. But yeah. So I know that we're kind of poking fun at Rex for a sequel in Tableau, but analytics can be valuable, but you have to be aware of that landmine. Don't step on that landmine. You'll be giving your client unreliable information if you do that. Okay? So keep that in mind, guys. Joseph says, sorry, Dennis, for the late response. This week, I'll be working on one of my personal DS projects. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Let us know if that's something you can share out if you're comfortable sharing out, as well as prepare for my next half marathon. Oh, very cool, Joseph. So, Joseph, you do both keto and running. Good for you, man. Good for you. When's the half marathon? I'm preparing for some goals that I have in 2025. Right now I'm working with my coach to get me ready for a 50K. I'm going to be doing, actually, I guess it's a little bit more than a 50K. It's a 38 mile race or event, because I'm more of a walker than a racer, that I'll be doing in a couple of months. So hope you're doing well. And it's October 26th. What? That's tomorrow. Like, what are you doing here? You shouldn't be here. That's tomorrow. Leo says, I didn't know about the subscription option. Yeah, Leo, I literally just enabled it like an hour ago. So like I'm surprised that there's a sign up already, but I literally just started it like a week this morning. I was just approved over the weekend and I didn't have time to look at the paperwork and all that. But yeah, so really appreciate that. Also congrats. Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah. Like I said, I'm still trying to sort things out because and that's actually one of the reasons why I was kind of late this morning starting the stream, because like I was looking at the paperwork and the options and you got to set this up, set that up. They got to approve you. I'm telling you guys, YouTube has monetization, but they don't make it easy on you. There's like all these things you got to fill out and you got to click yes and you got to wait for them to manually approve it. They're not giving money away. This is work, guys. I mean, they do not make it easy. Jitesh, welcome. Thank you for the introduction, Jitesh. Hi, Dennis. I'm an international student doing a CS degree in Ontario, Canada. I'm new to your channel. Just found it new on Instagram. I find your content really inspiring. I hope I learn more. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Appreciate you saying that. Yeah, CS degree. It sounds good. You're in Canada, beautiful country, great people. Have lots of Canadian friends. Ontario is beautiful this time of year, right? I mean, you guys are having beautiful weather up there from what I hear about it. But yeah, welcome. Just keep on coming back. The whole point here is to try to give you guys real world advice, a real world view. I cannot talk sometimes of what actually happens in data science. So keep coming back, Jitesh. Good to see you. Hey, by the way, speaking of coming back, you guys are amazing. I cannot believe that there are so many people here from yesterday's session. If you guys don't know, we had a 3-hour session yesterday, guys. I was exhausted, but I'm seeing Fatima, I'm seeing Rex, Leo, um, Yassine. I think Osama was also here yesterday. Rohan. Like, how are you guys still here? Like, I needed a break after yesterday. Man, you guys must really like data science. I mean, I was exhausted yesterday. I remember that I told my mods that I was exhausted. I sat on the couch and I just watched like dumb movies for a couple hours. You know, I've been watching the Rambo series, the Rambo series of all things, right? So I watched like Rambo 2 yesterday. And then I fell asleep, and then I woke up because my parents called, and I told my mother that. I was like, "Oh, Mom, I'm so tired. I taught a 3-hour class this morning." You know, both of my parents were teachers for many years, so they understood. But I was exhausted yesterday, guys. Like, how are you still here? You guys are crazy. You guys are crazy. So really, a pat on the back to you guys for hanging in there yesterday. Yeah. So you know, again, speaking to Jitesh, I mean, my whole goal here is to give you real world views. And yesterday, I think everybody got a real world view into the project management side of things. And even the business side of things. We know we got to get paid, guys, right? You got to keep the lights on. If you're in a consulting firm or, you know, running your own show, right? Maybe you're an independent consultant. That's also very common. Maybe some of you will go on to become an independent consultant. You got to keep the lights on, right? So taking the time to properly set that up with your client sets you up for data science success and also for business success, right? So I hope you guys got that yesterday, and we're going to continue with that. So for those of you who don't know, every Sunday I run a little bit of a longer tutorial, and this is the second series that I'm doing. I'm doing a series where I'm walking you guys through managing a project from beginning to end. And in that process, I'm showing you everything. So yesterday we talked about a lot of things, but we mostly focused on the statement of work. How do you actually get a contractual relationship with your client that sets both of you up for success? And the next session, we're going to be talking about agile planning, right? And I'm sorry, yesterday we also talked about methodology. Super important, right? And we're going to build up from there, right? But this is all real world stuff. They don't teach you this in school, right? There is no the business of data science class in any program out there. I don't care what university you go to. You can't tell me your curriculum has a business class about data science. But that's what I'm sharing with you guys, you know, because I've been there. I've been in the trenches. But yeah, you know, that's what I'm here to do, guys. Leo says we are amazing. Leo, you are both amazing and humble. Leo, how do you get through life being so humble? You're such a humble guy. Leo says, yeah, we like data science a little bit. Yeah, I can see that, Leo. I mean, you guys are hardcore. I mean, we went for 3 hours yesterday. Don't you guys like need a vacation? After this session yesterday, I needed like 20 chicken nuggets and a shoulder rub. You know what I'm saying? Like it was tiring. Fatima says it's very enjoyable and we benefit a lot from it. Thank you, Fatima. I really appreciate that. You know, Fatima, I know you're a student, so I know that you realize that things like that aren't being taught in schools. But I guarantee you guys that you need it. You need it. But I'm glad you got a lot out of it, Fatima. You know, Just trying to put out good information into the world, right? No cheap courses here. Leo says, I was tired, Leo. I sat on my couch and I watched Rambo 2 for an hour and a half, and then I went to sleep. I was exhausted. But then again, I had been up since like 3 a.m., right? So in my defense, I was up since 3 a.m., putting the finishing touches on a couple things. You know, I always kind of like rehearse in my mind what I want to say. You know, it takes a lot for me to put these things together for you guys, right? Good morning, Dennis. I wanted to hear more on the project you spoke about. Have there been any videos posted on YouTube yet? Yeah, Anthony. So you can find the live stream on my YouTube, and then the cuts I post over the next 2 weeks. So the way I do that is, like I said, you know, I do make my cuts well ahead of time. But I'm making those cuts available early to subscribers. You know, that's one of the subscriber perks. So nothing's going to change for you guys, you know, who don't want to subscribe. You know, I realize some of you, you know, don't like monthly subscriptions and all that. I respect that. So nothing will change for you guys, right? I'm still going to be putting out great content. If you are a subscriber, you can get the cuts as soon as I post them. So you're basically getting those types of videos, Anthony, 2 weeks early. Because, you know, sometimes I take these streams and I cut them up, and like I almost regret that I don't post multiple times a day, right? Because I get some of these and I'm like, man, like I'm already set in, I've already had my lineup for the next week, but I really like this video. I want to get it out now, but I have to put it at the end of the line, right? So yeah, but that's kind of what I'm doing. And again, guys, I haven't really announced subscriptions because I just started, but that's kind of like the plan for now. So Anthony, if you want to see the live stream, you can go on my in the YouTube archives. Or the cuts will start coming out over the next 2 weeks. Osama says, your sessions are now part of my daily routine. Oh man, wow, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Osama. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I try to give you guys daily value, right? And I like it, you know, but at the same time, you guys are the ones that make the streams great, because I love that I don't know what you guys are going to ask. Right? Like I love that Rex asked about Tableau and SQL today, right? We just do, right? So whatever comes up, you know, but I appreciate that, Osama. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I sincerely take that as a compliment. So Leo says, Dennis, do you think we can improve a model's performance by optimizing in Linux or FreeBSD, for example? Just be nerdy here about BSD capabilities. Okay. But Leo, you had recently posted in the Discord. And by the way, if you want to join the Discord, it's in the link. Discord, you know, is available. Dennis, so Leo was posting about some challenges he had around Windows, right? So I think that's why he's kind of a little bit biased towards the Linux side now. Just being nerdy here about BSD capabilities. So Leo, I have to admit that I don't consider myself, well, I don't consider myself a Unix expert, because I know that there's a ton of really, really good Unix experts out there, right? Like, I'm smart enough to realize that you can't call an expert unless like you really know your stuff. And I'm okay at it. I can hold my own, but I'm not great at Linux. And I'm not familiar with BSD in particular. My Linux is, you know, OS 10 and CentOS, and Red Hat. I've done quite a bit of work in Red Hat. So I can't speak to BSD specifically. So maybe if you want to include why you think BSD is better, you know, let me know. I'm curious. Um, but but here's where I think you're winning, Leo. Where I think you're winning is, and this goes for everybody in the chat. When you start working for like a large multinational firm that has like server clusters, geographic dispersion, load balancing, all that stuff, having your code ready to go for any flavor of Linux puts you ahead of the learning curve. There are not many like large corporate environments like that are going to tell you, well, why aren't you working in Windows? All those like big server farms, they're all running Linux, right? Or if you're at a company that has a high performance computing lab, very, very common, by the way, it's most likely Linux, right? Windows is not great at providing you a high performance computing lab environment or architecture, right? So Leo, to me, like, I'd love to hear about why you're a fan of BSD. Like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, I'm not challenging you on that. I literally don't know any better. But just the fact that you're working in Linux absolutely puts you ahead of the curve. Like, you're winning by Linux alone, right? So for those of you that maybe want to expand your skills or are more curious about it, don't get caught up in paralysis by analysis. Oh, should I use this Linux, use that Linux? Oh, I heard this one's better. Just work in Linux. Any flavor, right? Because just having those skills will absolutely help you, right? It will absolutely help you like integrate or like, slide in a little better into those large corporate environments. Because I guarantee you that if you're working in a large lab, large company, it's going to be a Linux environment. Because that, from a server perspective, Linux thrives, is perfect for that, right? Like if you're an IT admin somewhere and you got a request to build a new high performance computing lab, like it's never going to be Windows. It's going to be Linux. I shouldn't say never, but it's rarely going to be Windows. It's going to be Linux. So for you as an end user of that lab, if you can say, yeah, sure, I'm comfortable with a Linux console, just, send me my credentials and I'm okay with that. That puts you ahead of the candidates. That puts you ahead of your peers, right? So like I said, Leo, you're winning anyways, right? You're winning just by the fact that you're willing to look at Linux. And by the way, guys, if I know that a Mac isn't always available or affordable for everyone around the world. But if you do want a soft introduction into working with Linux, get a Mac, right? A Mac OS X has its roots in Linux. I think it's considered its own flavor of Linux by now. I think they've evolved enough. But working on a Mac is also a good way to get yourself into Linux. And also, the project we're doing now, as we get to more deployment, we're going to do that deployment on the Linux side, right? So, nothing but consoles and Linux commands, right? We're not doing any Windows or anything like that. Okay? But great question, Leo. Great question. But yeah, you're winning with Linux alone. So, you're on the right track there, Leo. All right, everybody. So really appreciate all of you guys. Well, actually, let me get this. BSD systems are monolithic. Linux uses its kernels. Also gives you a lot of control and security and hardware performance. Yeah, but all Linux does that, right? Linux does that, but not that deep. Okay, just nerdy, as I said. Okay, cool. Okay. Well, good to know. I didn't know that about, BSD. BSD systems are monolithic versus kernel based. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely more nerdy than I've been willing to get with Linux. But again, as I say, I hesitate to call myself a Linux expert because, you better know everything when you call yourself a Linux expert. If companies out there do this kind of things, choose the OS to optimize performance and models. Sometimes, but sometimes it's just cost, right? It's cost or availability, hardware availability. Sometimes these large companies, they get caught up in these licensing agreements that they sign, right? And the way the software vendors kind of like lock you in is by giving you like the free software that they tout, right? So if your software vendor says, they're Red Hat people, then that's what they're going to tell you. Hey, we can do the Red Hat side for free, but if you really want free BSD, I'm going to have to charge you for a change order and blah, 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 blah. Right? So, it's not always like, let's pick the, it's not always let's pick the latest and greatest. It's whatever accounting will sign off on. Right? So, it just kind of depends. Kind of depends. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate the time that we spent together. Go get some rest. You guys are crazy still showing up after yesterday's session. But I really appreciate your support. Really hope that you guys are doing well. Again, as always, it's a crazy world we live in. So I really hope that you're staying safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Watch out for your families. And I'll see you next time.